Welcome to Toffee TV. It's Ask Us Anything. Lovely people out there have sent videos into us, questions, and the first one has come from Simon.
I was quite pleased with the game on the weekend. Some of the players did really well, especially with Charlison. I was really chuffed with how he played. Definitely the best player on the pitch. With that in mind, my question this week is, with all the new players that we've signed, where do you see them all fitting within the team? What positions? Who's going to have to miss out because of other players? Where maybe what their the strengths are going to be, and what our new look team will be like once everyone's up to speed. And Marcus Silva's made a decision of who's going to be the regular starters. Just your thoughts, please, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Simon. Yeah, I suppose. Listen, where do we fit all these players into this team?
All the players.
All the players. We want all the players.
Fit them into the 11. Well, it's about creating a squad where everybody is almost equal in terms of ability and what they can do for the team, isn't it? And I think the best thing is to move away from having 11 players and then the rest you go, yeah, he's not good enough, and that's what seems to have happened certainly with these additions on transfer deadline day. So if you're looking now, you've got potentially a new centre-back partnership of Zuma and Mina, but Michael Keane's had a decent game at Wolves. Obviously Jack has done his best to take himself out of that equation, and you go around a pitch like that, you look Lucas Dean, there can be a crossover that you talk about with Baines there, Bernard, who can play anywhere off the front three and in midfield, so again, Richarlison can switch. So I don't think it's a case of all four of them on deadline day certainly a guaranteed starters straight off the bat. It's up to them to force the way in, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things in this. I think a positive result changes everyone's mindset on certain players. You've got into that game on Saturday and you're thinking, well, this is. I've seen some people saying, this is almost like a freebie, this game, because we haven't got all these players available that we've just signed. And then suddenly, when some of those players play well, it's like, where are we going to fit all these players in? Listen, number one, the days of thinking about what's your best 11, I think, are gone. Because what's your best 11 for one game mightn't be your best 11 for another game. It depends on your opponents. It depends on. Sometimes it can depend on silly things like the width of the pitch you're playing on and the conditions you're playing in.
Form,
form and injury levels for the entire squad. And listen, it's a long season, and you always want to be able to send out your best, your players in form, but also your players in the best condition. And I think that's what it's going to be. And also, there's also going to be things like suspensions already. We've had a suspension, we've had a sending off. These things happen. But what you want is, and I think we've seen a little bit this on Saturday, you see Michael Keane there playing. And I think Michael Keane rose a little bit. He grew a little bit on Saturday because the gauntlets are being laid down to him.
Definitely.
That you've got to pull your finger out here, because the manager's basically said by bringing two centre backs in that he doesn't fancy you. And also, I'm throwing a lot of things in here, by the way. Also, another thing you've got to appreciate is how Everton played on Saturday is not necessarily how Silva wants us to play going forward. He doesn't want his centre-backs on the 18-yard box. He wants his centre-backs higher up the pitch. So, again, as we go on and as we try and compete more with the best clubs, we start off being a little bit more cautious and playing on the 18-yard box. But does that stop us being more of an attacking threat? Yes, of course it does. So that's the other thing that will happen. We'll have to evolve, and if some of those players, certainly at the back, can't do that, then the players that we've brought in, who maybe the manager thinks can do that, will get more game time. So there's all those different things to think about.
Definitely. Same with Schneiderlin. Thought Schneiderlin had a good game, really. He's still not the most mobile, but I thought he put a shift in. I thought he looked a little bit like the old the Schneiderlin we saw when he first came in, as opposed to last season. But his place is up for threat. There's no guarantee he's going to play all the time. Once Gomez is fit, Garner could drop into where Schneiderlin is, and that could become Gomez, or Gylfi could drop back in and be with Garner, and Bernard could be further forward. There's some permutations there now, including Tom Davies as well. So I think it's good that, whereas last season we got to the end of that transfer window, and even though you were like made up, we'd spent money, there was still obvious holes, i.e. centre forward, left back. Where I said this on the final word yesterday, when we got to the end of this transfer window, you were looking and going, I probably would have liked another striker. But you weren't going, we haven't got a strike, we've missed that. Why haven't we got a left back? We can't believe we didn't buy a centre back. Where's the? Do you know what I mean? We got the areas that we all thought, and every window now, hopefully, you'll just build a little bit on top of that, or replace the quality. That's how you build a team.
Going back to what you're saying about Schneiderlin, I think that comes down to who you're playing. How many times have we sat at Goodison and gone, why have we got two holding midfielders today? Why are we playing with Schneiderlin and Garner? Where there's other times you go, oh, you know what, we do need two holding players today. All right, it might. You want more versatility in there.
But if everyone goes forward, if you're
but what I'm saying is in the future you want more versatility in there. You want holding defend midfielders who actually can move forward and move backwards and play passes forward. So you want better versions of it. But if you've only got those versions in now, there'll be some games where you will have against top teams that you go, actually we need to be a little bit more cautious, and then there'll be other games where you go, well, you know what, today, no, let's have a go at these. We think like we're alright against these, we think like we'll be fine, so let's throw everything.
But that is very much what Marco Silva does. He tinkers with the player in the hole coming back into a 3 if he feels as though you need it. But even if he does go with 2 defensive midfield players, you still got 6 to attack, which is still 3 times as many as we had up there last year when we just attacked with 1. So, I think you look at the players and you could easily go, well, the team is Mina and Zuma will be the first choice centre backs, Gomez will be in midfield, Bernard will play. But that isn't how it's going to work. There'll be changes he makes and we'll go, oh, I wonder why he's done that. But I think, just finally from me, the big thing everyone's got to look at as well is that it's a clean slate for everyone with a new manager. So the players who underperformed last year, like your Michael Keanes, maybe like your Schneiderlins, people like that, will go up another level because they'll have to.
Well, look at Schneiderlin's a prime example. Clearly wanted to get away from the club, and the manager actually convinced him to stay. And for at least a year, almost in that transitional period, and stay and help me in this transitional, and then we'll see what's what. But no, I tend not to worry about anything like that. I think if the manager knows what he's doing, then at the end of the day, if you're playing and your player gets injured or he gets suspended, and you look at the next person to replace him, and you're like, oh, it's sound. Whatever, if it's him. Whereas beforehand, if you were like, oh, we've lost Theo Walcott, and the only person that can replace him now is Sandro or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, let's just say. Now you're like, well, yeah, okay, well, we've got
options.
Bernard, and we've got, Richarlison could maybe play out there, or
we have got Sandro, but Sandro wouldn't be the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not dropping 2 or 3 runs down the ladder. You might just be going, he's almost as good as him.
And who knows what Sandro will be like in the Premier League this season? You don't know if he's still here.
If everyone feels like they're getting a fair crack at the whip, then it's not for us to worry about who the starting 11 is. It's just about getting behind them.
And I think the other thing as well is when people have gone on about Michael Keane. If Michael Keane doesn't perform, he'll be out the team. Right. That's simple. So I don't worry about anyone.
And if he's playing well,
then he should be in the team.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's about.
But what I'd like to see at centre back just finally though is actually establishing a partnership that lasts. Whoever that partnership is, I don't really care. Yeah. But if I just want a partnership that lasts the season, and we're not messing about with it. So interesting. Thanks for your questions, Simon. Moving on to Luke.
Good afternoon, Baz and Ped. This is Luke Robbins from Connecticut in the U.S. I have followed the club religiously since about 2014, but didn't follow much football before that. In that time, I've seen anxiety, fume, knee-jerk reactions. Essentially, Evertonians online seem to be either Chicken Little and the sky is falling, or my dad's stronger than your dad and we have the best manager in the world. And then 3 months later, we have the worst manager in the world, get him out. And I'm just wondering, is that something new in the post-Moyes era, or are Evertonians those anxious, either the sky is falling or I'm the most powerful boy in the whole world kind of people? So when can you remember that starting? Thanks. Love what you guys are doing, and I really enjoyed Allardyce getting called out live on TV. That was great.
Thanks, Luke. Yeah, you're definitely the coolest fan we've got, I think. Definitely. That's a really good question, actually, and I can appreciate where you're coming from, being, you know, a fan of Everton in America. Can you put your finger on, Baz, when things started to get so polarised?
I think with the emergence of social media, you've always had an element through the forums and stuff of people who are up and down. But I think what social media has kind of done, you will have had an element on a forum where it will have been a core of however many people, but all mostly Evertonians or members of all fans on their own forums who will, it's great or it's terrible or whatever, and you'll have the rest of everyone else match going and have your own opinion. I think what's happened with social media is A, it's given people the opportunity to air their views. B, it's allowed them to tap into other people who share those views, and C, other fans of other clubs ignite it and make it worse, whichever way that is, whether it's Evertonians ripping other clubs or other clubs ripping Everton, and that makes the puffing your chest out almost even more when you get something right, and when it goes wrong everyone comes on top of it. And I think I also attribute it, with Everton in particularly, to the fact that we are starved of any success, so everything's heightened. We've almost been able to grab something and it's been dragged away from us. Moyes, you know, with the cup final in 2009 and Champions League in 2004-05 and the semi-final at Wembley in 2012, you know, and then he went and Martinez come in and we had fourth shown up and it didn't happen, and we had 2 semi-finals and we blew both of them, and then Mashiri come in and it was the money. We're all right now, we got, and then we got Koeman and it was like, we just took him from Southampton, and everything was felt like it was building, and then it came crashing down.
It's been a roller coaster of changes and emotions since David Moyes left the club.
Definitely,
and I think you've got the internet and you've got social media, and it's all just played perfectly into a perfect storm that's gathered over the last few years. It really has. You know, I think under David Moyes, I think it was very much as you mentioned, there was very much a forum ethos. I used to go on the Blue Kipper forum. I think you used to go on the Grand Old Team forum. And it was, but I think it was different. Forums were slightly different because just the makeup of forums, you're only having individual conversations at any one time in certain groups, and people can chime in, but it's never. It's number one in forums as well. You have admins who can moderators and keep an eye on things, and in Twitter it's an open playing field, and people can come in and just throw hand grenades on and get off, and you know, and all those things. And I think what happened on the Moyes was, I'm not saying expectations were lowered, but we were all sort of fine. We were all strapped in with it. Okay, he had people who didn't like him, but we were all strapped into it, and we all understood the situation. Okay, not everyone was happy with the situation, but a lot of people understood the situation, and I think you just got on with it, and you didn't. There was no point, I suppose, going mad about it, because it was almost like, well, what happens if you go mad? Very little. So everyone was just fine. And then, as I say, in the last few years, certainly with the emergence of the money as well, people are like, well, we can do something about it now, so why aren't we doing this and why aren't we doing that, and why are they getting bigger than us and why are they getting better than us? And I think that's just, I think what we need now is a period of stability,
Yeah,
and that's all we all crave. We all crave stability on the pitch and off the pitch. On the pitch, we want to see a team moving forward and getting better and
trying to win
games of football and trying to win trophies.
And we need to keep the manager in place.
Yeah, and we need to keep the manager in place, and we need to see movements in terms of the stadium. And I know they're all three very positive things, but why you know what? That's what you should be striving for ultimately, because if you're not doing positive things, then in any kind of workplace, you know that this might sound stupid. I was watching a program last night on Channel 4 about pound stretcher. I know that's, but they're going bust. So they brought in this expert to help them, and they'd gone into shops and found that there was all this dead stock and nothing was selling, and all these stupid things that are making them go. They're like, well, why are we struggling? Why have we got problems? And they're like, so they had to go in and go, we've got all this dead stock, and there's like an order process that no one seems to be controlling, and it's all just on and on and on and on, and it's like, when things are not going right, you have to stop and go, why aren't they going right? And I think that's all that happens. I think the only thing that difference now is fans do that a lot earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So after like day one, they're like, he's shite, he'll never be good, that's not working.
But it's pressure. That's pressure though as well on fans, because we all want to taste the glory, don't we? We all want to go, our team's boss, and this player's great, and this player's that. That's what we want to do as fans. It's reflective glory, of course, as we're not playing the game, are we? We haven't got the shirt on and experiencing that. We're witnessing it all second hand, aren't we? We're there going, reacting to 11 fellas playing the game of footy for us, you know, against 11 opposition. And I think we want to be proud of our team, and I think we're feeling, certainly last season, Luke, the disconnect was unbelievable, really. For me, it felt after the high of the year before, and I say high, what I mean by that is just that things seem to be going the right way for a period of time. I don't think it was massively high expectation, because the manager was dour and a bit boring, to be fair, and he didn't seem to embrace the club. And then we had the crash of what happened last season at the start. You know, we were in the Europa League, and it was, we've got a good squad, we've done this, we lost Lukaku, we didn't replace him. The Europa League, it all went tits up. And so I think that heightened everything. But people are too quick to jump on stuff now, but I think it is because it's heightened everything. We almost need it to go well, because it's at a breaking
and listen,
point.
It all gets, and I like the other side of what Luke's saying as well, about the other side of it, where we're so protective as well. So if, you know, everyone's like, well, you know, why, like the Wolves game at the weekend, why is it all about Wolves? Why are Everton not getting a mention? You know, why on deadline day there's all the attention on all the other clubs and not at Everton? We are so polarised as fans. Amongst ourselves, we're so willing to call each and everyone out, but if anyone steps to us, we're like, who are you?
Well, that's it. It's family, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can say what you want about your family, but if other people say it, then you'll protect it, and that's right. But I suppose, listen, to a certain extent.
What I would say though, Luke, is that is the world we live in at the moment. There's not just Everton. There's no everything's so polarised. Everything's left or right, or there's no one who goes, well, I see what you're saying, and I like a bit of that, and I see what you're saying, and I like a bit of that. Maybe if there was those people, I don't know, maybe the world would be slightly different, but everything is so polarised everywhere you go. So it's just,
look at Liverpool the day of the Champions League. They were the greatest team in the world, and 10 minutes after it, some fans wanted to shoot the goalkeeper or sack the keeper and sack half the team. That's it's football, because it's emotive, but it is all part of today's culture as well, the way it is. That's and especially the online culture. I think if you came to the game, Luke, and you were just around the ground and stuff, it's not that same feeling, is it? It's not that same thing. It's a bit more balanced.
Depends though, people do react quite early at the match now than they used to, I think.
But that's changed. That's what's changed, hasn't it?
It has seeped into the fan culture. It's just a case of getting it getting it going the other way, and the only way to do that is performances on the pitch, and just seeing. Saturday was a key. Saturday, I think everyone, even though it was 2-2, but I think everyone was like, we played really well there, and it's, you know, we've lost a player sent off, whether you think he should have been or not, and everyone's gone, you know, that's good.
The fans stayed with the team.
People haven't gone, we should have seen that out, and that's a disgrace, and that blah blah blah. Everyone's gone, you know, that was a decent start to the season. You know, our expectation, Richarlison's played well, and we've had a player sent off, and we've done something positive, and in the end we've got a draw, and fair play to the lads.
In some respects, the sending off will help us, because it galvanised us, and it's shown the test of character there, and he didn't back down, he didn't duck the challenge, he still tried to win the game, so they're positive, I think.
So I think it's got to go on like that. I think it's got to be now, take everything into consideration and go.
I think Goodison will be bouncing at the weekend.
Let's hope so. Let's hope it is. Luke, thanks for your question, mate.
Hi both, Matthew from Cardiff. My question is, where do you see the future of Michael Keane with the signings of Zuma and Mina? Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Big thanks to Matthew there. So, what does the future hold for Michael Keane now that Jerry Mina and Kurt Zuma are through the door at Everton Football?
Jerry Mina? Jerry Marsden?
No.
Jerry Mina.
Jerry Mina, that's what I just said. I just want to go. Is it alright if I call him Jerry though?
You can call him whatever you want, to be
Jerry.
Fair. I don't know, he's got to step up his game. I thought he was very good at the weekend. He had the most clearances from any Everton defender, won the most headers. I thought he was quite solid. Obviously, the caveat to that is he made a mistake for the equaliser.
But you know what? In hindsight, and I called them out for it at the game, it's a fantastic ball into the box.
Never should have been closed down, really. That's the first thing.
The first thing.
And alright, Michael has let him run off the back of him and he scored. But other than that, I thought he was excellent. So it's a case of stepping up to the plate, isn't it? We've got two centre-backs in who will want to play. You know, Zuma's powerful and good in the air, strong. Mina looks even more imposing. You know, and we've got Mason Holgate as well.
But he's got the most to lose, hasn't he, Keane, I suppose, because Jags is 36 and would be expecting less games, and would have been for the last couple of years. Mason Holgate's got youth on his side and understands that. I know he said it himself that this is a big season for him, but he will know that Kurt Zouma is only here for a season. Maybe. Initially, and obviously, and he'll know with Jags moving on. He's one of the not moving on, but you know, as a 36-year-old, he's one of four. Michael Keane is what, 25. You know, didn't just miss out on an England place. Missed out on an England place by a lot. When really he should have shown that England place up if he'd had a decent season. It's up to him. Now, no one can do it for him, and no one should do it for him, because that's where we live in, and that's football. No one's going to do it for him. Nope. It's up to him to
keep the shirt.
It's not just about keeping the shirt, though, is it? It's about how you keep the shirt. It's about going out there in training every day, and then when it comes to Saturday, and showing something that he hasn't been showing, and that's a little bit of fortitude in the testicular area.
I think he's done alright pre-season.
No, he hasn't. Baz.
He has.
No, he hasn't. Don't talk nonsense.
He has done.
You've been watching something else.
Talking nonsense at all.
He was rubbish pre-season.
He wasn't.
He was rubbish. He was rubbish.
No,
he was good on Saturday against Wolves, but
very
pre-season
good.
he was rubbish.
He was good. He was good against Valencia. He was, mate. Listen.
Come on.
People can have the agendas against him.
It's not agenda.
It is an agenda because people buy into the narrative that he was rubbish last season, and he wasn't rubbish last season. He had a period of last season when he was rubbish, there's no question about it, but he also had a period when he was alright. He started off quite well, got a bad injury, then he went into a terrible run of form and he was grim, and then he picked it back up towards the end of the season, although against West Ham last day he was horrendous. Pre-season started off slow, but he got better. But Valencia, he was alright. Wolves at the weekend, he was good, but he's got to produce that level. The thing about it is, if he doesn't produce that level, he won't be in the team. And that's fine by me, no issue with that at all, because that should apply to everybody. You're right, he's got the most to lose, but the gauntlet has been purely thrown down by the fact we brought 2 centre-backs in, who on paper probably will end up being the defensive pairing, because of the way they are. They're both powerful. I think that I've seen enough of Zuma to know he's quick, and he's good in the air and he's strong. Mina, I'll be honest, I haven't seen that much of him, so I can't really remember if he's really quick, but I know that he's really imposing and he's a beast and he's horrible and all of the bits you want from a centre-back, and you've spent 30 odd million to bring him in from Barcelona. He's going to be expecting to play, so you would look at it and go, Michael Keane's got a lot to do to stay in that, and that's fine by me. That's great, because most of them should have a lot to do to stay in that side. But I trust Marco Silva, so Marco Silva goes, Keane's in for the next 6 weeks, I'm good with it. If he goes, Michael Keane's out next week when Mina's fit, I'm good with it, because I trust the manager, and I haven't trusted the manager for a while, trust me. But Michael Keane's got to step up for it, and if he doesn't step up to it, he's in trouble, because he bought in last season as a big money signing. We beat off Manchester United and Liverpool to get him, and he come here and it didn't go as well as it should have gone last season. There's no question about that. If he has a similar season this season, he'll be gone in the summer, I think.
For me, it's about reacting to what he's got to do, and that is as much as his problem at Everton as anything is, if you know what I mean. We will see what he's all about by how he reacts to this fight, and that is his Everton career in a nutshell. He is. Listen, I think he's got all the talent to be a good defender. I just don't think he wants it enough. I look at Maguire, right? And I think he's got limitations as a player. But I think Maguire just wants it. He wants to be and I think a lot of the time with footballers, it's how much you want to improve. It's how much you want the trophies. It's how much you are prepared to sacrifice as you know, whether it be training or whether it be lifestyle, dietary, whatever. It's how much, at the end of the day, when you're a defender, it's how much you're prepared to put your head in where it hurts. And I look at Keane at times and I just think, you're not prepared. And I'm not saying he's shit house or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. It's just those situations where you think you've got to react in a better manner. And I think that's what is good about this situation, because he's got to react like that before he even steps out on the pitch. Like last season,
he's got to be up for it.
Last season, pretty much, he trained all week knowing that he's playing on the Saturday. Whereas now, I think when he goes in for training, he knows that the fight starts at training now.
But the other thing with Michael Keane is he comes across like as a confidence player, and I think he does need to be put into positions. And this is what I said in the summer when we got Marco Silva. It's ideal for the likes of Michael Keane, because he will be put into position to be dragged. This is where you should be. This is what you should be doing. If he's not up to that task, it'll be evident pretty quickly, right? I look at last season and I scratch it, because he had Koeman, who couldn't be arsed, more interested in the golf, and he had Allardyce, who was just grim and he wouldn't have inspired anyone. So, and he had a bad injury in the middle of it and lost a bit of confidence. So I've like I've done with everyone, to be honest, mate, I've scratched it all and gone, right, let's see what you've got this season. Saturday against Wolves, we went out there, we had Richarlison, was the only new player we had, right? And that Everton side looked a completely different side. It looked fitter, it looked organised. They dropped back into shape at most of the time. Even with the 10 men, we recovered our shape very quickly. We weren't easily played through. So all of that's massive. Last season, people just went and waltzed through the middle of us like there was nobody there. And we didn't do that at the weekend. So everyone's at the clean slate. Now it's up to everybody to produce. They've set, for me, last week they set a bar, they set a level with 10 men of battling and fighting for each other and trying to see the game out, knowing where they should be. They fall below that, not acceptable anymore. Right? So it's what we do now. So I'm looking at Michael Keane and I'm going, decent start at the weekend. Can you follow it up this weekend? If he can't, trust me, he won't be in there, because Silva doesn't. there's no time to try and go, oh, yeah, let's see what you like. He's got 2 lads there chomping at the bit, and Mason Holgate's back from injury. So
I think the big question mark as well will be when Silva feels the team maybe is a little bit more comfortable with the style he wants to play, and then he starts asking his centre-backs to be a little bit more adventurous and step up a little bit more and leave a little bit more space behind them. Will Michael Keane feature when that happens? But we won't know till that time comes. I think Saturday suited the way he plays. It's going to be when
suited the both of them.
It's going to, well, and that's why we played it. So it's going to be when he starts saying, can you play this way where the whole team can be higher up the pitch, we leave a little bit of space behind us, but I'm confident enough in the way we play and the way we pass the ball that we won't lose the ball, that'll suddenly spring that open. I suppose that's the key for Michael Keane at the moment. It will certainly Saturday suited them way we play. So
well, it will, but if you put someone next to him who's pacey, it negates that problem straight away, and that's the way it does. That happens with a lot of football teams. Not both centre backs are sprinters.
Oh yeah.
If you're a good defender, but he's got to be a good defender. He's got to prove it. He proved it at Burnley. Now he's got to prove it for Everton. Simple as that for me.
Yeah. There you go. Big thanks for your question and all the questions we've had this week. Make sure you get them into us. You can transfer them over to us at toffeetv1@gmail.com, and if you're on Patreon, all the details are there for the WhatsApp address as well, that you can number that you can send over as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.